It is quite a cheap fragrance in terms of its price tag, and to me it smells like its price tag. It smells really cheap. It reminds me of Britney Spears' fantasy thing, whatever it's called, that the pink ball everyone and their younger sister owned at some point. Welcome back to part 2 of Project Blueberry. If you guys don't know what Project Blueberry is, effectively this is a project that is the first of its kind in the world of fragrances, as far as I know, that started accidentally on this channel when we did a poll for an upcoming video we were going to do regarding Experimental Perfume Club, where we were going to make a fragrance with them. A lot of you guys, I think thousands of you, said that you wanted a blueberry fragrance. We couldn't make it in that video in the end, but I actually took it upon myself to try and start this new project within our own brand of Atrium, where we are going to create the world's I don't know, I can't say it's the world's first, but it's going to be the world's first community-based fragrance, where we take your idea of a blueberry fragrance and make it something that's for men, that's attractive, creative, like we always try to do in Atrium anyways. And basically, so far we've done a part 1 to this video where I've explained the creative process of making your own scent, and I've talked about the behind-the-scenes brief, perfumer, etc. You can see that's over here in this thumbnail in part 1. You guys can go watch that video afterwards if you haven't already. In today's video, though, what we're going to do, before we talk about the fragrance compounds that have come in for Project Blueberry, so they actually have come in, I smelled all of them, and I have some mixed opinions about that. I'm going to do that in the next part of this series, but first of all, I thought it makes sense to actually explore what has come before and talk about the blueberry fragrances on the market that already exist. What exists right now in the landscape? What are we working with? Because to move forward in an industry or an idea, you need to understand and appreciate what came before, the foundations, to see how your idea fits into the landscape, into the context of everything. As you guys might appreciate, blueberry is a very rare note to experience in perfumes. Let me know, guys, if you see it often at all in any fragrances. I went on Fragrantica, there's not actually that many to choose from. I've chosen 4 fragrances in today's video. They all technically have a blueberry note. We're going to explore them, how they approach the idea of blueberry, what my overall thoughts and opinions on them are, who I think they're for, etc., etc. So when I tell you to think about the idea of a note of blueberry, I think a lot of you guys put it down as a suggestion because you like the idea of it, but what would it smell like to you? Of course, the vast majority of us have tried blueberries before. We understand it's a plant. It comes from a bush that has these berries that are very multifaceted in themselves. When I think of blueberry as a note, of course, it's not going to be natural, guys. Natural perfume notes actually come from distilling or extracting an actual raw material. As far as I know, blueberry is going to be an accord. It's going to be a creative recreation of the idea. So that's kind of like how amber accords are made, or if someone has to make a chocolate note, they don't take actual chocolate and distill it, as far as I know. So in my mind, each perfumer would recreate blueberry in their own unique way. They would have a different way of approaching that idea. Blueberry to me would be a little bit tart, a little bit green, a little bit sweet, fruity, a little bit aromatic. That's what I think of when I think of the blueberry and how it's attached to its bush in its natural form. You get some more tart blueberries, a bit more sweet, riper blueberries. So you can get a variety of ways to approach this idea. We have 2 full bottles and 2 samples today. Let's explore the notes of blueberry in these creations. First up, we have Arabiyat Perfume's Blueberry Musk. Now, this was an interesting idea. I think it got quite good reviews on Fragrantica. Blueberry Musk. I'm thinking, okay, something quite fresh, powdery, focus on the note of blueberry, but to me, this smells really juvenile, really synthetic. It's more of a floral, sweet, synthetic vanilla musk fragrance. It is quite a cheap fragrance in terms of its price tag, and to me it smells like its price tag. It smells really cheap. It reminds me of Britney Spears' fantasy thing, whatever it's called, that the pink ball everyone and their younger sister owned at some point. I feel like this smells like a teenage girl's fragrance. The blueberry isn't really prominent here. I get a slight fruity hint at the opening. Of course, guys, fruit notes are varied and they can come from a variety of forms. Oftentimes you'll actually get fruit notes from aldehydes. I know aldehydes are used to create a coconut note as well as strawberry. So presumably a blueberry accord will have some sort of aldehyde in there, maybe some musk, some green aspect to balance it all out. Here though, I'm really not getting it that much in this fragrance, and the other synthetic cloying notes are really taking the front stage and center here and really ruining this creation. I personally don't recommend this. Maybe if you're a young girl, like a teenage girl, you might enjoy this, but I think for most people, I wasn't really impressed by this and wasn't really inspired by Blueberry Musk. 37.9% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys really want to see our channel grow, go ahead and click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. Next up, we have Arabian Oud Kalemat. This is a great fragrance in its own right. It kind of is comparable to Montale's Honey Oud. So this has honey, smoky incense, probably a synthetic oud in here, loud beast mode, and a slight blueberry note in the opening. Again, this is very subtle. I really can't say much about the blueberry aspect of this fragrance. It kind of disappointed me when I was doing the research for this video because it just really is a faint hint of it. I mean, let's respray it now and let's see if I can get that blueberry note again. Let me smell it. Like, is a slight hint of lively green berryness in there in the opening, but those smoky, resinous, amber, woody notes are really taking the front stage and center main attention. It's a great fragrance. Like, I would say this is better than Honey Oud by Montale, but this is not much of a blueberry fragrance. So for research of this video, you're not gonna get a lot of relevance in this blueberry notes here. But hey, if you want a loud head turner for the cold weather, for us guys, I think this is great. I think this is definitely worth the money. Still a great release overall. Then we have two samples. So one of them is a fragrance I've already used before, but this is a new one that some of you actually commented on, actually told me to get this in the comments. This is Poet of Berlin by Vilhelm Parfumerie. This has a blueberry note. To me, this is unisex leaning a little bit feminine, but you know, Blueberry Musk is definitely feminine, but I don't think it's a great fragrance. This is still actually quite a good fragrance. I quite enjoy this. I have limited experience with this brand, but I will say they have quite a lively, fruity berry aspect here. I'm not sure if my brain would go straight to blueberry if I didn't see the note breakdown, but you kind of get the idea. It's more lively, has a nice opening with that berry note. There's a bit more prominence here. But overall, I would say this more smells like a musky vanilla sponge cake. It has quite an interesting, realistic gourmand aspect there. It's quite a smooth, nice vanilla fragrance. Not overly complex, not a lot going on, but it smells high quality. I will say this is a nice fragrance for probably a woman, but I think guys can rock this as well. Okay, now I'm getting more inspiration with the blueberry notes. It's fresh, invigorating, it smells a bit different. My mind wasn't going to go straight to blueberry if I didn't see the note breakdown, but I think they've done a great job, definitely, of recreating the idea of blueberry. I would want this in our own fragrance, in Project Blueberry, of having that freshness, that brightness. I want it to last a long time as well. I want it to be elongated. Sometimes notes are difficult to elongate. They sit for the first 5 minutes and they're gone, which is very sad. I'm sure many of us have had our favorite orange fragrances, that top notes, orange top notes go away really quickly. It's very sad. And then some other fragrances elongate it more and you get that orange later on in the dried out of a fragrance. So I would want this to last in that blueberry aspect longer. I feel like it goes away quite quickly in this fragrance. It's that vanilla sponge cake idea that I think lasts longer. But hey, this is a solid fragrance, worth checking out, at least sampling. And then recently I reacquired Bleecker Street by Bond No. 9. I used to own a full bottle of this fragrance. This, to me, when I think of blueberry in fragrances, this is the only fragrance that came to mind. So I believe it has blueberry, greenness, like violet leaf in there. It has caramel. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. To me, this was always kind of like a poor man's green Irish tweed, which might sound a bit harsh. But Bleecker Street, to me, I feel like always had a cool idea, but kind of fell flat. It's a fragrance that has a nice blueberry note. It's bright, sharp. The greenness, again, really complements that blueberry note. It's a nice, unique opening and differentiates it from something like Green Irish Tweed. I'm not sure a lot of reviewers actually compare the two fragrances, but to me, I feel like they're in a similar style, a similar family. But I always thought that Bleecker Street had a bit of a clumsy amount of greenness. The greenness was too much. The muskiness was too much as well. I feel like it was synthetic and became a little bit more harsh on the dry down. It's an expensive fragrance that I think just isn't worth the price tag, although I know it's one of the more popular fragrances from the brand. From memory, I believe I got 6 to 8 hours with a media projection on this fragrance. It's quite versatile. It's not a bad fragrance, but I'm not sure if it's worth that price. However, I do appreciate the blueberry in here. It's fresh, it's a bit more long-lasting into the duration of the fragrance. It's probably the best attempt at a blueberry note right now that I can tell in the industry as a whole. So yes, I think right now, if you do want to experience blueberry, go to Bleecker Street, try it out. I don't think it's the perfect fragrance overall, but I can take some inspiration for this project for you guys, where I want that freshness, I want that ease of wearability that Bleecker Street has. I want the unique factor, like that blueberry and caramel combo is quite cool. It'll be interesting to combine blueberry in our fragrance with another cool note also to make something truly unique. Hopefully something quite balanced, you can wear it quite often in a variety of situations. So these are some of the things I appreciate from Bleecker Street. Try it out, guys. Have you guys even actually tried Bleecker Street already? If you have already, guys, let us know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on this fragrance? That concludes today's video, guys. I think the notes of blueberry is really underexplored, and I'm glad you guys have suggested it for this project that I wasn't ever planning on creating, but it's kind of an accidental project that we've started now. And we're getting into it. So yeah, guys, as I've said in the previous videos, which you should watch, by the way, if you haven't already, you can go and click in the link in the description down below to the link for Project Blueberry on the Atrium website, where you can sign up for notifications to be one of the first people to be aware of when it's available. It's going to be a limited edition release, so I'm going to make one batch. Right now I'm thinking it's going to be 2 orders, so based on how many people pre-order it within a certain time period, that's the number we're going to make, or yeah, around that number basically. So if you want to actually get your bottle, make sure you don't miss out on that limited pre-order window. Make sure you sign up for notifications in the link down below, guys, and it helps us know how many bottles we should be making. What are your thoughts on the notes of blueberry so far, guys? What direction do you want us to take Project Blueberry? As I said, in the next video, I'm actually going to be talking about the compounds that have arrived for this idea from Parfumerie. We're going to go through the ideas, and I'll let you guys know what direction I think we really should take this, or you guys can give me feedback on the direction you like to see. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you check out the previous part here on Project Blueberry. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.